Hey, you. Yeah, you watching this right now. Before we dive into this wild story, I need you to do something super cool. Drop a comment below and tell me, where are you watching from today? Are you in a big city, a small town, or maybe somewhere totally crazy? And hey, if you love stories about people who everyone thinks are weak but turn out to be super strong, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Oh, and don't forget to click the little bell so you never miss a story like this. Ready? Awesome. Let's jump in. Imagine a tiny town in Arizona. It's the kind of place where the sun burns so hot you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, and the roads are covered in dust that sticks to your shoes. Right in the middle of this nowhere town is an old, beat-up bar. It's not a fancy place. The wooden walls are scratched up, the tables wobble, and the jukebox in the corner only plays 5 songs over and over and over again. If you walk inside, the air smells funny, like old beer that's been sitting around too long and leather jackets that haven't been washed in forever. It's the kind of place where tough guys hang out, laughing loudly and acting like they own everything. And at the center of it all is a woman named Mia Carter. She's the bartender. But here's the thing. Mia is not who everyone thinks she is. To the people in the bar, Mia is just the shy girl. She's the quiet one who pours drinks, wipes down the sticky bar, and never says much. When the big, loud bikers come in, they don't even look at her like she's a person. To them, she's just there. Like a piece of furniture. The regulars, those guys who come every night to drink and tell boring stories, don't pay attention to her either. They just grunt, "Gimme another beer," and go back to complaining about their day. Everyone acts like Mia is weak, like she's scared, like she's nothing special. But here's a big, juicy secret, they're all wrong. Oh, so very wrong. Mia has a secret, a huge, amazing secret that nobody in that dusty little bar knows about. Not the bikers who pick on her. Not the regulars who ignore her. And definitely not the people who are about to learn a very hard lesson: looks can trick you. So, what's her secret? Stick around, because the story is about to get totally wild. Let's paint a picture of Mia for a second, okay? She's not super tall, and she's not super short. She's just normal looking. Her hair is brown, tied back in a messy ponytail, and she wears a plain black t-shirt and jeans, just like any other bartender. Her hands are quick, pouring drinks like it's no big deal, but if you look really close, you might notice something weird. Her hands have little marks on them, tiny scars, like scratches from a long time ago. But nobody ever looks that close, because nobody thinks Mia is worth looking at. That's their first mistake. And boy, are they going to wish they paid more attention. Now, let's talk about the bikers. These guys roll into the bar every night on their big, noisy motorcycles. Vroom, vroom. Their engines are so loud, the whole town can hear them coming. They wear black leather jackets with shiny silver chains, and they walk in like they're the kings of the world. Their leader is a huge guy named Razor. Razor is scary looking, with a big bushy beard and tattoos all over his arms. He's the kind of guy who thinks yelling is the same as talking. Every night, Razor and his biker buddies make Mia's life miserable. They shout at her, "Hey, shy girl. Hurry up with those drinks." They throw peanut shells on the floor just to watch her clean them up. One time, Razor even banged his fist on the bar so hard, a glass fell off and broke into a million pieces. And what did Mia do? Nothing. She just picked up the pieces, quiet as a mouse, and kept working. Everyone in the bar laughed, thinking, "Wow, she's so weak." But here's a little hint for you: Mia wasn't weak. Not even a little bit. She was just waiting. Waiting for what, you ask? Oh, you'll see. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about how the regulars treat Mia, too. These are the guys who sit at the same tables every night, drinking the same drinks, telling the same boring stories. There's Old Man Pete, who always smells like cigarette smoke, and Jimmy, who thinks he's funny but really isn't. They don't yell at Mia like the bikers do, but they don't help her either. When Razor and his gang pick on her, the regulars just look down at their drinks, pretending not to see. One night, Old Man Pete even said, "That shy girl needs to toughen up." Toughen up? Oh, if only they knew. Mia didn't need to toughen up. She was already tougher than anyone in that bar. But nobody saw it. Nobody even tried to see it. And that's exactly why the story is going to be so much fun. So, here's the big question, why does Mia let everyone treat her so badly? Why doesn't she yell back at Razor? Why doesn't she tell the regulars to help her? Why does she just stay quiet, night after night, pouring drinks and cleaning up messes? Is she really as weak as everyone thinks? Or is there something else going on, something big, something secret, something that's going to turn this whole story upside down? Here's a tiny hint to keep you hooked, Mia isn't scared. Not even a little bit. She's waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment for what? Well, that's the fun part. You're going to have to keep watching to find out. Oh, and before we go any further, I've got a super fun question for you, the awesome person watching this story. Have you ever met someone who seemed totally ordinary, like, super boring or quiet, but then, bam, they turned out to be amazing? Maybe it was a kid at school who was shy but secretly awesome at soccer, or a teacher who seemed normal but used to be a rock star or something. Drop your story in the comments below, I can't wait to read them. And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button if you're already rooting for Mia. Because trust me, by the end of the story, you're going to be cheering so loud, your whole house will hear you. Okay, let's zoom back into that dusty old bar in Arizona. Remember Mia, the quiet bartender everyone thinks is weak? Well, things are about to get really messy in there, and I don't just mean the spilled beer on the floor. Every single night, the same gang of big, loud bikers rolled into Mia's bar like they owned the whole place. Their motorcycles roared outside, vroom, vroom, so loud the windows shook. Then, the door would swing open, and in they'd come, stomping their big boots on the wooden floor, leaving muddy footprints everywhere. These guys didn't care about rules. They didn't care about being nice. And they definitely didn't care about Mia. To them, she was just a nobody, a quiet, shy girl who was easy to pick on. But here's the thing, they had no idea who they were really messing with. Not a clue. The leader of the bikers was a huge guy named Razor. Razor was the kind of guy who looked like he could scare a bear just by staring at it. He was tall, with a big, bushy beard that made him look like a pirate, and tattoos of snakes and skulls all over his arms. His leather jacket was so shiny, you could see your reflection in it, and it had a big patch on the back that said King of the Road. Razor thought he was the toughest guy in the world, and he loved, to make Mia's life miserable. Every night, he'd walk right up to the bar, slam his giant fist down so hard the glasses would rattle, and yell, "Hey, quiet girl. Pour faster, or I'll teach you how to move." His voice was so loud, it made your ears hurt, and the other bikers would laugh like it was the funniest thing ever. They'd slap each other on the back, howling, "Yeah, quiet girl, move it." Oh, but Razor didn't stop there. Nope, he was just getting started. He'd grab a handful of peanuts from the bowl on the bar and toss the shells all over the floor, grinning like a naughty kid. "Oops," he'd say, not meaning it at all. "Looks like you've got some cleaning to do, quiet girl." The other bikers would join in, throwing shells everywhere, making a huge mess just to watch Mia bend down and clean it up. To them, it was a big, fun game. To them, Mia was nobody, just a weak, scared girl who wouldn't fight back. They'd laugh and say things like, "Look at her, she's too afraid to even talk," or "What a loser, just cleaning up our mess." But here's what they didn't see, every time Razor shouted, every time they threw those shells, Mia's eyes would flash with something dangerous. Something hidden. It was like a tiny spark of fire, burning deep inside her, but nobody noticed. Why? Because they were too busy laughing. Let's talk about Mia for a second. While all this was happening, Mia didn't yell back. She didn't cry. She didn't even frown. She just kept working, pouring drinks, wiping down the bar, picking up those peanut shells. But if you watched her really close, you'd see something weird. Every time Razor yelled, Mia's hand would grip the bar rag a little tighter, so tight her knuckles turned white. Her jaw, the part of your face under your mouth, would get hard, like it was made of steel. Her lips would press together in a thin, straight line, like she was holding something big inside. What was it? Was it anger? Was it a plan? Was it a secret so huge, it could change everything? Oh, you bet it was. But here's the fun part, nobody in that bar had any idea. Not Razor, not his biker buddies, not even the regulars sitting quietly at their tables. They all thought Mia was just a scared little mouse. But mice don't have sparks in their eyes. Mice don't have jaws like steel. What was Mia hiding? Why didn't she snap back? Keep watching, because the answers are coming. Now, let's talk about the regulars, those guys who came to the bar every night. They weren't as mean as the bikers, but they weren't exactly nice, either. There was Old Man Pete, who always sat in the corner, smoking a smelly cigarette and muttering to himself. There was Jimmy, who thought he was super funny but really wasn't. And there was Big Tom, who drank so much beer, his belly looked like a basketball. These guys saw everything: the yelling, the peanut shells, the way Razor treated Mia like dirt. But did they help her? Nope. Not even a little bit. They just sit there, staring at their drinks, pretending not to notice. One night, Old Man Pete even said, "That quiet girl needs to toughen up. She's too soft for a place like this." Toughen up? Oh, if only he knew. Mia wasn't soft. She wasn't weak. She was something else, something dangerous, something strong, something nobody expected. But nobody saw it. Nobody even tried to see it. Here's a little moment that happened one night, and it's super important, so pay attention. Razor was being extra mean, yelling louder than ever, "Hey, quiet girl, you're slower than a turtle in mud." The bikers were laughing so hard, one of them almost fell off his chair. Mia was pouring a drink, and her hand shook just a tiny bit, so tiny you'd miss it if you weren't looking close. But then, something strange happened. She stopped. She set the bottle down, very slowly, and looked right at Razor. Not a scared look. Not a sad look. A look that could cut through steel. Her eyes were like lasers, sharp and bright, and for just 1 second, Razor's big, loud laugh got stuck in his throat. He blinked, like he wasn't sure what he saw. But then, Mia looked down again, went back to pouring, and the moment was gone. Razor shook his head and laughed even louder, like nothing happened. But something did happen. Something big. What was that look? What was Mia thinking? Was she planning something? Oh, you'll find out soon. So, here's the big question to keep you hooked: why does Mia let all this happen? Why does she let Razor yell at her, throw shells on the floor, treat her like dirt? Why does she let the regulars ignore her, acting like she's invisible? Is she really as weak as everyone thinks? Or is there something else going on, something sneaky, something smart, something that's going to turn this whole bar upside down? Here's a tiny hint to keep you glued to your screen: Mia isn't scared. Not even a little bit. She's waiting. Waiting for what, you ask? Well, that's the fun part. You're going to have to keep watching to find out. Oh, and before we move on, I've got a super fun question for you, the awesome person watching this story. Have you ever seen someone get picked on, but they didn't fight back, not because they were weak, but because they were smart? Maybe it was a kid at school, or someone in a game, or even in a movie. Drop your story in the comments below, I can't wait to read them. And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button if you're already feeling mad at Razor and cheering for Mia. Because trust me, things are about to get even wilder. Okay, let's jump back into that dusty old bar in Arizona. Remember Mia, the quiet bartender everyone thinks is weak? And Razor, the big, mean biker who loves picking on her? Well, things are about to get even crazier. Weeks went by, and Razor's bullying didn't stop, it got worse. Way worse. Every night, he and his biker buddies found new ways to make Mia's life miserable, and the regulars just sat there, watching it happen, not saying a word. But here's the thing. Mia wasn't just sitting back and taking it. Oh no, she was watching, listening, and doing little things, tiny, sneaky things that nobody noticed. Things that made you wonder, what's she up to? What's her plan? Stick around, because the story is heating up, and you're not going to want to miss a single second. Let's talk about one really bad night. It was a Friday, and the bar was packed with loud, sweaty bikers. The jukebox was blasting the same old songs, and the air smelled like beer and motor oil. Razor was in an extra mean mood. He stomped up to the bar, his big boots thumping on the floor, and grabbed a full glass of beer right off the counter. He held it up, grinning like a naughty kid, and then splash, he dumped the whole thing on the floor. Beer went everywhere, making a big, sticky puddle. Oops, he said, not meaning it at all. Better clean that up, quiet girl. The bar erupted in laughter. The bikers slapped their knees, howling like it was the funniest thing ever. Old Man Pete, one of the regulars, even chuckled into his drink. But Mia? Mia didn't laugh. She didn't cry. She just stared at Razor, her eyes cold and sharp, like a wolf watching a rabbit. It was a look that could make your skin tingle, but Razor was too busy laughing to notice. Big mistake, Razor. Big mistake. Then, something strange happened. Mia bent down to clean the mess, grabbing a rag to mop up the sticky beer. But as she did, she whispered something under her breath. It was so quiet, nobody else heard it, not Razor, not the bikers, not even Old Man Pete sitting nearby. But if you were close enough, if you were really listening, you'd catch it. Not yet. Not yet? What did she mean? Not yet for what? Was she talking to herself? Was she making a promise? Was she waiting for something big? Oh, you bet she was. But nobody in that bar had a clue. They just kept laughing, thinking Mia was weak, thinking she was scared. But here's a little hint for you, Mia wasn't scared. Not even a little bit. She was planning. Planning what, you ask? Well, that's the fun part, you'll find out soon. Let's talk about another night, a few days later. Razor was being his usual mean self, yelling at Mia to pour drinks faster, throwing peanut shells on the floor, acting like the king of the bar. But this time, Mia did something different. It was small, so small, nobody noticed, but it was important. While Razor was yelling, Mia reached under the bar, like she was grabbing a clean glass. But instead, she pulled out a tiny notebook. It was old and beat up, with a cracked leather cover. She opened it, just for a second, and wrote something down. What was it? Nobody saw, because she hid it so fast, slipping the notebook back under the bar before anyone could blink. But here's the thing, Razor didn't notice, but Old Man Pete did. He was sitting at the end of the bar, sipping his drink, and his sharp old eyes caught it. What's that girl writing? He muttered to himself, scratching his head. But he didn't say anything out loud. He just watched, curious. What was in that notebook? Was it a list? A plan? A secret? Oh, you'll find out soon. Here's another moment that made things really interesting. One night, Razor decided to push Mia even further. He grabbed a bottle of hot sauce from the bar, yep, the spicy kind that makes your mouth burn, and poured it into a glass of beer. He slid it across the bar to Mia and said, "Drink it, quiet girl. Let's see if you're tough enough." The bikers roared with laughter, banging their fists on the tables. The regulars looked up, curious, but nobody said a word to help. Mia stared at the glass, the red hot sauce swirling in the yellow beer, looking gross and spicy. Everyone thought she'd back down, maybe even cry. But here's what happened instead. Mia picked up the glass, looked Razor right in the eye, and took a big, slow sip. Her face didn't change. Not a flinch, not a cough, not even a tiny tear. She set the glass down, wiped her mouth, and said, in the calmest voice ever, "Needs more spice." The bar went silent. Razor's big, loud laugh stopped, like someone hit the mute button. For just 1 second, he looked confused, like he didn't know what to do. Then he laughed again, louder, saying, "Oh, quiet girl thinks she's tough." But here's the thing, that sip wasn't just a sip. It was a hint. A tiny, sneaky hint that Mia wasn't who they thought she was. How could she drink that without even blinking? What kind of person does that? You'll find out soon. Here's one more thing that happened, and it's super important, so pay attention. Later that same night, after Razor and his gang finally left, the bar was quiet. Mia was cleaning up, wiping down the bar, picking up the last peanut shells. But then, Jimmy, one of the regulars, the guy who thinks he's funny, noticed something odd. Mia's hands, those hands that poured drinks so carefully, had scars. Not little scratches, like you get from a paper cut, but deep, jagged scars, like someone who'd been in a fight, or maybe even a war. Jimmy blinked, rubbed his eyes, and looked again, just to make sure. Yep, the scars were there, crisscrossing her knuckles, running up her wrists. "Hey, Pete," Jimmy whispered to Old Man Pete, "you ever notice those scars on the quiet girl's hands?" Pete nodded slowly, his eyes narrowing. Yep, he said, makes you wonder, don't it? Who is this woman? Where'd she get scars like that? What was she waiting for? Oh, you'll find out soon. So, here's the big question to keep you hooked, what's Mia planning? Why does she write in that secret notebook? Why can she drink hot sauce and beer without even blinking? And those scars, where did they come from? Is she really as weak as everyone thinks, or is she something else, something strong, something dangerous, something nobody expects? Here's a tiny hint to keep you glued to your screen, Mia isn't just a bartender. Oh no, she's way more than that. But what is she? Well, that's the fun part, you're going to have to keep watching to find out. Oh, and before we move on, I've got a super fun question for you, the awesome person watching this story. Have you ever seen someone do something small but super surprising, like they were hiding a big secret? Maybe it was a kid at school who seemed shy but was secretly amazing at something, or a teacher who turned out to have a crazy past. Drop your story in the comments below, I can't wait to read them. And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button if you're already guessing what Mia's secret is. Because trust me, things are about to get even wilder. Okay, hold on tight, because this is the part you've been waiting for, the moment everything changes in that dusty old bar in Arizona. Remember Mia, the quiet bartender everyone thinks is weak? And Razor, the big, mean biker who's been picking on her night after night? Well, things are about to get totally wild. It all came to a head one stormy Friday night. The sky outside was dark and angry, with big, black clouds rolling in and thunder booming like drums. Inside the bar, it was even louder. Razor and his gang of bikers were worse than ever, acting like they owned the whole world. They were shoving tables, breaking glasses, and yelling at Mia like she was their servant. But this time, something was different. This time, Mia wasn't going to stay quiet. Oh no, this was the night everything flipped upside down, and you're going to love every second of it. The bar was packed, and the air was hot and sticky. The jukebox was blasting its same old songs, but nobody was listening, they were too busy watching Razor and his gang cause trouble. Razor was in a super mean mood, stomping around in his big boots, his shiny leather jacket squeaking with every step. He'd already broken 2 glasses, just for fun, and thrown peanut shells all over the floor, laughing like a naughty kid. The regulars, Old Man Pete, Jimmy, and Big Tom, were sitting at their usual tables, watching but not helping, as always. Razor stomped up to the bar, his big, tattooed arms flexed, and yelled at Mia, "Hey, quiet girl. You're slower than a snail in mud. Pour faster, or I'll make you." The bikers roared with laughter, banging their fists on the tables, making the whole bar shake. Mia just kept pouring drinks, her face calm, her hands steady. But here's the thing, her eyes weren't calm. Oh no, her eyes were burning, like a fire was growing inside her. What was she thinking? What was she planning? You're about to find out. Then, Razor did something really bad. He reached across the bar, grabbed Mia's arm, and squeezed it hard. His big, rough hand wrapped around her wrist, and he snarled, "You're nothing, quiet girl. Nothing." The bar went quiet for a second, like everyone was holding their breath. The bikers grinned, waiting to see Mia cry or run away. The regulars looked down at their drinks, pretending not to see. But here's what happened instead, Mia smiled. Not a scared smile, not a sad smile, but a slow, dangerous smile, like a tiger about to pounce. She looked right into Razor's mean, ugly face, and with one quick move, she pulled her arm free. But she didn't just pull it free, she twisted it in a way that made Razor stumble back, almost falling over. His big, heavy boots tripped over each other, and he caught himself on the bar, his face turning red. The bar went silent. Dead silent. Even the jukebox seemed to hush. What just happened? How did Mia do that? Who was this woman? Mia stepped out from behind the bar, standing tall, her shoulders straight, her eyes sharp. "You don't know who I am, do you?" she said, her voice steady and strong, like a drum beat. It wasn't loud, but it filled the whole room, making everyone listen. Razor blinked, confused, his big, bushy beard twitching. "What are you talking about, quiet girl?" he snapped, trying to sound tough, but his voice shook a little. The bikers looked at each other, unsure. The regulars leaned forward, curious. Mia didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached under the bar, her hand moving fast, and pulled out something small and black. She held it up, high, so everyone could see. It was a patch, a black cloth patch with two white words stitched on it, Delta Force. Delta Force? The bikers' jaws dropped, like their mouths forgot how to close. Razor's face turned white, like he'd seen a ghost. Old Man Pete gasped, dropping his cigarette. Jimmy whispered, "No way." Big Tom's beer glass slipped from his hand, crashing to the floor. Delta Force? That's right, Mia wasn't just a bartender. She was a retired elite soldier, trained to take down enemies 10 times tougher than Razor and his silly biker gang. What is that? Razor stammered, his big, tough voice suddenly small and scared. Mia stepped closer, holding the patch higher, her eyes locked on him. "This," she said, "is who I am. Delta Force. The best of the best. Trained to fight, trained to win, trained to never back down. And you, Razor, have been picking on the wrong person." The bar was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The bikers looked like they wanted to run, but their legs wouldn't move. The regulars stared, their eyes wide, like they were watching a superhero movie. Razor tried to laugh, but it came out all shaky. "Why you lying?" he said, pointing a trembling finger. "You're just a quiet girl. Ain't nobody." But Mia just shook her head, her dangerous smile growing wider. "Here's your lesson," she said, stepping even closer, her voice low and strong. "Never underestimate the quiet ones." And then, it happened, the moment everyone in that bar would talk about for years. Razor, trying to save face, lunged at Mia, his big fist swinging through the air. But Mia was faster, way faster. She ducked under his arm, grabbed his wrist, and twisted it behind his back, all in one smooth move. Razor yelped, his big, tough body bending like a pretzel, and before anyone could blink, Mia had him pinned to the floor. His face was pressed against the sticky wood, his arms trapped, his legs kicking uselessly. The bikers gasped, stepping back, their tough guy faces melting into scared little kid faces. The regulars cheered, jumping up from their seats, clapping and shouting, "Go, Mia! Go, Mia!" Razor groaned, his voice muffled against the floor. "Let me go," he whined, but Mia just leaned down and said, "Not until you learn." "Learn what, you ask?" "Oh, you're going to love this. Here's the big question to keep you hooked: what happens next? Now that everyone knows Mia's secret, now that Razor is pinned to the floor, what will she do? Will she let him go? Will she teach the whole bar a lesson? And what about the regulars, will they finally stand up for her? Here's a tiny hint to keep you glued to your screen: this isn't just about Razor. Oh no, Mia's got a bigger plan, and it's going to change everything in that bar. But what is it? Well, that's the fun part. You're going to have to keep watching to find out. Oh, and before we move on, I've got a super fun question for you, the awesome person watching this story. Have you ever seen someone surprise everyone by being way stronger or smarter than they looked? Maybe it was a kid at school, or someone in a movie, or even you. Drop your story in the comments below, I can't wait to read them. And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button if you cheered when Mia pinned Razor to the floor. Because trust me, things are about to get even better. Okay, let's see what happens next in that dusty old bar in Arizona, right after Mia's big reveal. Remember how she pinned Razor, the big, mean biker, to the floor? Well, in less than 2 minutes, Mia had him totally stuck, his arm twisted behind his back, his face squished against the sticky floor. Razor was yelling, "Ow, ow, ow," but he couldn't move, not even a little bit. The other bikers? Oh, they didn't even try to help. Nope, they were too scared. They dropped their drinks, tripped over chairs, and ran for the door, their big boots slipping on the floor. One even forgot his shiny leather jacket, leaving it hanging on a chair. The regulars, Old Man Pete, Jimmy, and Big Tom, who'd always ignored Mia, now stared with their mouths open, like they were watching a superhero movie. Mia stood tall, strong, and in charge, her eyes sharp like a hawk. "This bar," Mia said, her voice loud and clear, "is under new rules now. Respect, or you're out." Razor, still pinned to the floor, mumbled something. "Sorry," he whispered, his voice all shaky, like a little kid who got caught being naughty. But Mia wasn't done. Oh no, she had a plan to make things right. She let go of Razor's arm and stood up, pointing to the messy floor full of peanut shells, spilled beer, and broken glass. "You made this mess," she said, "so you clean it up. Every peanut shell, every spilled drop, every tiny piece of glass." Razor's face turned red, but he didn't argue. Not this time. He got up, grabbed a broom, and started sweeping, his big, tough hands shaking. The few bikers who stayed had to help, too, picking up shells and wiping down tables, looking like scared puppies. By the time they finished, the bar was spotless, cleaner than it had ever been. Razor and his gang left, heads down, tails between their legs, like dogs who'd been scolded. The whole town heard about it, and soon, everyone was talking. Mia wasn't just the quiet girl anymore. Oh no, she was a hero. People started coming to the bar just to see her, saying things like, "That's the lady who beat Razor." The regulars, Old Man Pete, Jimmy, and Big Tom, now smiled at her, tipped extra, and even helped clean up messes. And that bar? It became the safest, friendliest place in Arizona, all because of Mia. No more yelling, no more bullying, just respect. And Mia? She stood behind the bar, strong and proud, knowing she'd made things right. Oh, and before we finish, I've got a super fun question for you, the awesome person watching this story. Have you ever seen someone stand up to a bully and make things better? Drop your story in the comments below, I can't wait to read them. And hey, hit that like button if you feel happy for Mia. And there you go, friends, the story of Mia, the quiet bartender who turned out to be super strong. She showed everyone that strength doesn't always shout and yell. Sometimes, it whispers, quiet and sneaky, until it's time to roar like a lion. So, next time you see someone quiet, someone nobody notices, think of Mia. The quiet ones. They might just be the strongest of all, hiding their power until the perfect moment. You never know who's a hero in disguise. Remember, it's not about being loud, it's about being brave, standing up for what's right, and never giving up, no matter what. Hey, if this story made you feel strong and happy, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and tell me in the comments, who's the strongest quiet person you know. Maybe it's a friend, a teacher, or even you. Until next time, stay awesome, stay brave, and always believe in yourself.